Hello everyone, Jan here, and today's nonsense is that I'm going to be talking about my impressions on In Another World with my smartphone, or otherwise known as Isekai wa Sumatofon to Tomo ni. Sorry about that. This is actually my first anime related video, so I hope I made a good choice and made it about this series. This is an anime that is adapting the light novel slash web novel, which started since 2015. This anime has only has 5 episodes so far, but the thing is that it's grown in popularity recently, and also the light novel, saying that it's been like, I think this is on the wiki page about like over millions and millions of views that it's had so far, which I think is pretty great. Um, but at the same time, all those views don't mean that they're good views. There have been some fair amount of criticism and some pretty unfair. That's why I'm here to tell you what I think about it. I only watched the first episode though, so I don't really know have much knowledge of it so far since I only watched the first episode. What I do know from what I have watched is that it does somewhat resemble shows like Sword Art Online and Danmachi, or in longer terms, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? If you have seen that, it just kind of like adapts elements from both. Not saying it's like an entire like RPG type thing. It's not really that, but it's just like a fantasy solely based fantasy series. My friend initially told me about this series like 2 days ago, and here I am now already making a video about it. The title, first of all, completely threw me off, and I thought it sounded kind of dumb. I was told the synopsis and then was like, this sounds a bit intriguing actually, but really a smartphone. So pretty much, you have this regular 15-year-old boy named Toya. On Earth, he was, get this, accidentally killed by God with a lightning strike. This is where I started scratching my head, thinking, this is silly so far. But yeah, I had my doubts, but so far it kind of sounded silly. So God felt sorry for Toya, so he decided to resurrect the boy in another world. God also lets him make one desire slash wish before going to this new world. Toya could have thought up of anything imaginable, like anything. But get this again. He tells God um that he wants his smartphone to be with him. His smartphone. Now that basically tells me why the show is called what it is. But also, as a further apology, God also enhances the boy's physical, mental, and magical abilities, which I guess that's a pretty good deal too. The convenient thing about his phone is that he can navigate through the world with the GPS. I guess it's a GPS, at least, thanks to God, and also let him be able to come up with anything related to Earth, which is pretty convenient. I mean, well, scratch that. You don't really live on Earth anymore, so it's kind of like a bother to actually know what's going on there if you don't really live there anymore. But I guess he still wants to know what's going on. The catch is that he can't really interact with anything back on Earth, though, so that's why. But it makes sense since he is dead on Earth, so it makes sense. So far up to that point, that all that's happened, um, kind of seems like I'm intrigued now. Seems kind of silly, but I'm intrigued now. But I want to be given more. Like I want to know. I want to be told more. I want to know about this world. So eventually, he does walk into this town and meet these cute set of twins. He saves them from these dudes basically harassing them over this weird icicle horn thing. I don't know what it was, like a deer horn. It was like a crystal. I couldn't really comprehend that, but well, anyway, their names are Els and Lins. And basically, Els is the older twin, and Lins is the younger twin. They may be twins, but the thing is that their personalities are quite opposite. Lin's being the reserved, knowledgeable type, which I really like, and while Els is a more openly character that can easily break the ice, as I've seen from the first episode. Since this world would be supposed to be a fantasy type world, there would have to be magic, right? Well, yeah, and Toya gets taken through a quick lesson on the attributes of magic, which thanks to God's boost, he already has all attributes: fire, water, earth, light, dark, yeah, all that. And he basically proves them by like showing that he can summon it from these stones. And these stones, if I remember, yeah, they use these stones, little small stones, to determine what attribute you are by summoning a spell from them. And he basically summoned the spell from every single one. The magic that actually interested me the most was whenever Lins mentioned no magic, which is supposed to be this rare separate magic from the rest, and it's stuff like teleport, heal, stat boost, the supporting type spells. The funny thing is that Toya apparently has the most rarest no magic, teleport. So he's to them. I remember when he just used it, he just seemed like some sort of magic prodigy. Well, yeah, thanks to God, basically. So it seems that this overpowered guy and these two girls, in my eyes, are gonna go on these typical fantasy adventures, going to quests, on those sorts of things, because they go on a quest to hunt for wolves, and that's how they form their party, just like that. I mean, they meet this guy because they saved him. They let him into their room, and their hotel room, and then say, let's form a party. Let's do it. Let's do our first quest just like that on the same day. Ba bam, and it's all done. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure there will be more girls to come, as this is labeled as a harem. Now on what I think of how this series started. On this series, well, opening, how it started. The animation does seem to stay consistently smooth throughout the episode, which I like, and the character also do seem pretty likable. So far, I like Lance the most, if I haven't expressed that already. God also seems like I know that's kind of a thing to say, but God also seems like a great character himself. But the thing is, he's actually labeled as a side character, so that means I won't be able to see much of him. But he seems like a great guy. He's humorous. He made me laugh a couple of times. I watched both the sub and dub of this first episode to see the difference, and the dub sounded pretty good, to be honest. And that's to my surprise, because the dub actually came out just a month of time as the sub started airing, which impressed me. So the voices are good on both ends, sub and dub. So if you want to choose either or, it wouldn't really matter. But even though I do say these positive things, my pros, there is one thing that bothered me, the con. It's just, I mentioned it earlier about how I wanted to be told more. It just didn't feel like it told me enough as a first episode. I felt like the most I got out of it were how magic works in that world during that tutorial the twins were showing Toya. And basically, it lacked a bit of presentation, but at least it told me enough that I would know where this story is heading, which is a harem fantasy adventure full of quests. It would seem. Um, but other than that, it was intriguing enough that I would want to watch more. His cell phone is what I'm most curious about, since the title of the show is "In Another World with My Smartphone," so it would have to revolve around that. Yeah, I'm most curious about that. His cell phone, um, how it'll affect the story and characters, in which in this episode he helped a lady, I forgot her name already, but she helped he helped this bakery lady make this ice cream, which apparently no one in that place has ever heard of ice cream before, because it is from Earth. So he looked it up on his cell phone, found a recipe, and helped them make it. And they found it very delicious. So if it's gonna be those kind of things where he looks up for knowledge and stuff, that would make sense. I wouldn't really see much more of it than that. It seems that so far he's just used it to look up information, news, and recipes. But that is what I basically expected from that. It's an okay start for the series, and I actually can't wait to see what happens next. Um, you actually should watch it too, as I'm probably going to be sharing my thoughts on it from here on out each episode. God's Guilt. One other thing to point out. Yeah, it's that God's guilt of killing Toya basically did create a whole new god, in my opinion. with it. He basically enhanced his everything. He's like this he like beat up these guys. He's super fast, he's super strong, and he can use all these type of magics and even the rarest magic. So, well, if God kills me and makes me into a different god in this world, I'd accept that. But anyway, those are my thoughts and impressions of this anime as of the first episode. Tell me what you guys think, and make it a discussion down below. If you enjoyed my nonsense, then you should know what to do. Subscribe for more discussions on anime and manga. Also follow me on Twitter in the description down below if you'd like. See you guys on the next episode. Bye.